The first globe was made about 150 BC by a Greek geographer. The Greeks knew the Earth was round, and had even calculated circumference or distance around the Earth with great accuracy. However, at the time, very little was known about the land masses of the Earth. As a result, the globe maker created what he thought would represent a balance between land and water masses. He drew what was known about Europe and part of Africa, and then added 3 other continents for a total of 4 land masses. He then separated the land masses with 4 oceans. Today, globes are much more accurate and detailed because we photograph the planet from satellites spinning in orbit. These pictures provide the detailed information and data needed to create realistic models of our planet. As seen from space, the Earth looks like a huge sphere, so the best way to show it is with a globe. A globe is a model of the Earth that is made to scale. If you have ever built a plastic model from a kit, you know that the model uses a scale. It is a smaller version of the real thing, created to a specific scale. This model of a Viper has a scale of 1 to 24. That means that every inch on the model equals 24 inches on the real car. Or if measuring in centimeters, every centimeter on the model equals 24 centimeters on the real Viper. Globes are made to scale as well. Most globes are made to the scale of 1 to 41,800,000, or rounded off, 1 to 42 million. This means the Earth is about 42 million times bigger than this globe. This scale is used because there are about 42 million feet across the diameter of the Earth. So this model has a 1-foot diameter. A globe is a great way to represent the Earth because it shows the true relationships of land and water. It shows not only their sizes, but also the distances between them. You can measure the distance between 2 places on a globe with a string and a ruler. Hold one end of the string on one location and find the destination with your other hand. Then measure that distance with a ruler and multiply by the scale to find the distance. Notice that somewhere on the globe there is a compass rose, which indicates north, south, east, and west. These are called the cardinal directions. When the North Pole is positioned at the top, then east is to the right, south is down, and west is to the left. You may have noticed that the globe is usually tilted, so that the North Pole is slanted to one side. It is showing that the Earth is tilted on an imaginary axis that runs through the center of the planet. It is tilted 23.5 degrees in relationship to the Sun. It is this tilt that gives our planet the seasons. If the Earth weren't tilted, we would experience pretty much the same climate year-round. But because the Earth is tilted, there are times when parts of the planet are tilted away from the Sun, and as a result, don't receive as much direct rays. You may also notice that the globe has a series of horizontal and vertical lines running around it to create a grid. This helps to find locations easier and permits us to identify a very exact location on the Earth. Lines of latitude run east and west as circles around the globe. The equator is a line of latitude that is exactly halfway between the north and south poles. It is referred to as the reference latitude at 0 degrees. The distance between lines of latitude is about 70 miles. The lines of latitude are divided into smaller units called minutes and seconds. It takes 60 minutes to equal the distance between 2 lines of latitude. The apostrophe is used to designate a minute. Minute lines are divided into 60 units called seconds. A quotation mark is used to identify seconds. So the proper way to identify the equator is by saying 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. The equator divides the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. The word hemisphere comes from a Greek word that means half a sphere or half a globe. Any great circle that goes around the Earth can be used to divide the globe into hemispheres or halves. However, there are 4 hemispheres that are used most often to represent parts of the planet. As stated before, the equator divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemispheres. The eastern hemisphere is commonly shown as Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. The western hemisphere is shown as North and South America. Places above the equator are identified as so many degrees north latitude, and places below the equator are said to be so many degrees south latitude. Most globes don't show all the lines of latitude because it would become too difficult to follow the lines. Instead, globes often show every 10 or 20 degrees. This globe has lines of latitude every 10 degrees shown on the surface, but also has an outer gauge that shows individual latitude degrees. There is a second set of lines used to help divide the globe into a grid. The north-south lines of longitude start at the North Pole, bulge out at the equator, and intersect at the South Pole. These lines, which are also called meridians, are divided in the same manner as the lines of latitude: degrees, minutes, and seconds. The prime meridian, which is 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, runs through Greenwich, England. Lines drawn to the east of the prime meridian are referred to as 10 degrees east or 30 degrees east. Lines drawn to the west of the prime meridian are identified as 10 degrees west or 30 degrees west. There are 180 degrees in the east and 180 degrees in the west for a full circle. The 180-degree line of longitude is not identified with a W or an E because it is the same line for both east and west. To identify the exact location of a place on Earth, measurements of latitude and longitude are given. For example, Philadelphia is at 40 degrees north latitude and 75 degrees west longitude. Lines of longitude are also used to identify time zones for the world. It takes the Earth 24 hours to rotate or turn around once. If we divide 360, which is the number of degrees in a circle, by 24, we get 15. That means that the Earth turns 15 degrees every hour. So more than 100 years ago, an international commission established 24 international time zones. These time zones are about 15 degrees apart. Summary. The globe is the best way to represent the Earth. It shows land and water masses in the proper location, size, and gives accurate distances between them. Because the Earth is a sphere, it makes sense that a sphere is the best way to make a model to properly represent the Earth. The disadvantages are that globes are difficult to take along traveling, and they don't show details. Globes are models that use a scale, just like a plastic model is a true representation that is scaled down in size. Lines of latitude and longitude are used to divide the Earth into a grid that makes it possible to pinpoint the location of things anywhere on the globe. Lines of latitude go from east to west around the globe, starting at the equator and moving north and south until they reach the poles. Lines of longitude go from the North Pole to the South Pole. The prime meridian is located near Greenwich, England, and is considered 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Lines of longitude 15 degrees apart are used to designate 24 different international time zones. Lines of latitude and longitude create a grid system that can be used to identify the location of any place on Earth. The Earth has been scanned and photographed by satellites orbiting the planet, and as a result, much is known about our home in the solar system. This concludes the video presentation. A video quiz follows. Students may write their answers on the video quiz worksheet or on a separate sheet of paper. Question 1. What is a scale model? Question 2. What is the prime meridian? Question 3. The 4 hemispheres are? Question 4. What are lines of latitude? Question 5. What are lines of longitude? Question 6. What is the equator? Question 7. Why is a globe a good model of the Earth? Question 8. What are the cardinal directions? Question 9. How can you figure out distances on a globe? Question 10. What is a compass rose?